Happy New Year!
Come and tap in with the Jacksons. We living, we learning, we laughing. No capping, we all about action, 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 yeah. Jesus is our main attraction. We glorify him with our passions. No capping, we all about action, 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 yeah.
Tap in with the Jacksons.
Tap in with the Jacksons.
You know we about that action.
You know we about that action.
Tap in with the Jacksons.
Tap in with the Jacksons.
You know we about that action.
Yo. What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the Jacksons in Action.
Where we are doing what?
We are living, we are learning, and we're laughing.
Yep. We living, we learning, we laughing. We always living because we got breath until we don't got breath no more. Heavy on the learning, trying to do more laughing. But we are the Jacksons in Action. Welcome to our podcast
Woo!
and our vodcast. So vodcast is just a video podcast, which we've been doing for a while, but this is our first official podcast. So we are the Jacksons.
In Action.
Tell us a little bit about the Jacksons. Who are we?
I am Kay Trinae.
And I'm El Dewan.
And we are a young married couple just out here, like we said, living, learning, and laughing. We are artists, creatives.
Mm-hmm.
We love Jesus.
Yes.
We're entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We just out here trying to do this thing. And we'd like to take you along the journey and the process. So on this channel, we talk a lot about our life, things that we're learning, and we tell on ourselves a lot.
Yep.
To be honest.
And we encourage you.
Happy
New Year! Happy New Year. Y'all, we are in another year.
A whole nother year.
That's crazy. Like 2022 was like
ago.
a blink. Like it was 2 days ago, and it felt like 2 days. The whole year felt like 2 days, man. New year. A lot comes with a new year. How you feel about the new year?
I'm excited. I'm really excited because, I like goals. I like setting goals for myself. I like fresh starts. And so I'm setting my goals for myself just kind of regularly throughout the year anyways. But I feel like the beginning of the year is just such an exciting time for me because it's just like, whew, clean slate, let's get it. And so I did it like a lot, like a really deep dive into last year and like looked through like what I was really like happy about, like my successes, and then like just really like, dove into the areas that I could have done better. But I didn't like beat myself up over it. I just like observed it, learned from it, and was like, you know what, 2023, like I don't want to be playing around anymore. Like 2023, I want to improve in these areas. So I've set a lot of like goals that I really want to see, and I've made plans to see those goals happen. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing, like, I know the year's not going to be perfect, but I'm just really looking forward to seeing what me and Jesus are able to accomplish in 2023.
That's awesome, baby. I'm excited about the year as well, but also just nervous. It happened very quickly, honestly. It happened very quickly, and so we wanted to make this episode because so many people get, like there's nothing wrong with New Year's resolutions and, like my wife said, goals and having her plans and dreams and all of that, But so many people get caught up into that, and for some people it can just create anxiety. For some people it can create depression, because some people are looking back at the goals that they made the previous year and they're like, man, I didn't hit these, or, oh, I'm not where I want to be. And in a sense, like in some of those, like, to be honest, like I'm like that. The other night, me and my wife, like the day before New Year's Eve, we were just going over some things that we wrote down and said about 2022 and some goals, and we did accomplish some of those things for real. God is faithful. A lot of great things happened in 2022, but then also there were a lot of things that I'm like, ooh, I wanted to happen, and they didn't happen. Neither are they close to happening. And we were talking about how some of those things were like, those are great things, but some of them, like just being realistic, some of them are more like 5-year goals and not like, oh, this can happen in a year, And so like, with this episode, like that night when we were talking about the previous year and talking about the new year, like this is one of the first years like in a while where I really didn't come with like a game plan. Like, oh, I want to do this, or I'm doing this, like blah 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 blah. Like I do have some of those. Like don't get me wrong, I do have some goals and some resolutions, but not super strict on it. You know, like I'm like my schedule is very open to some things, and that's what this episode is about. Like literally, like making room. That's what this episode called, making room or make room. Because like a lot of times we make our plans and like we just want God to just put his stamp on our plans and our dreams and our goals when like sometimes like it's not just gonna go the way you want to go, you know? And so like that night when we were writing our goals and writing our visions for the year, like God just put the worship song on my heart, Make Room. Because here recently, I've heard that worship song several times before, but it just recently became one of my favorites when a friend was over and we were just talking about some of our favorite worship songs, and they said that this was their favorite worship song, and it just led me to listen to it more. And I'm like, man, this song is so powerful, you know, like, God, I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do. And so some of our points from today come from that worship song, Make Room. And so yeah, I think I said my piece about it. When you hear the title Make Room, baby, what do you feel like?
I immediately think back to like just a few days ago when I was sitting in my quiet time and just kind of my mind and my heart was like kind of not set on, but like I was kind of focused subconsciously on like my goals and my plans for 2023 based off of what I observed. And I just kept on feeling the Lord say, like, but what about me? What about my plans for you? What about my goals for you? What if they don't align? You haven't even taken the time to like bring them to me. And it was a lot. It was a whole situation. Cause then like I like had this moment with him where I was like, oh, man, where he helped me realize that I actually have a fear of taking things to him because there's been a lot of times in my life that I've taken important things to people I care about and they convinced me not to do those things or to get rid of those things or this, that, and the third. And so it was like kind of an emotional healing moment too. But basically it was so interesting because I took my goals to him and he was like, yeah, those are your goals for the year. So in a sense, it's kind of like, well, what was the point of all that? And it's simply the fact that like we always need to make room for him, like because we just need to make room for
most definitely.
Just inviting him into every space and every decision.
Every aspect.
Yeah, don't just move on a decision just think because you think it's good. Take it to him and let him, confirm it.
That leads to the scripture, Matthew 6:33, which says what?
But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Yep, King
Amen.
James. Oh.
Yep, good old King James. Seek ye first the kingdom. Like, seek ye first the kingdom. Like, let that sink in first. Like, don't go to your thoughts first. Don't go to what you think somebody else is telling you to do first. Like, seek the kingdom first, because God has a different way of routing us sometimes. Like, and if you just really look back at your life, like, we make plans, but a lot of times they don't go our way. Some of our dreams and some of our goals are exactly, what God wants us to do. But still, if we're not seeking him first, then we wouldn't know what to do or don't know what to do. Or maybe doing something that you may feel is right, but it's going to be wrong. And then years later, you're going to regret that. So going into the year, like, I wanted to I'm not going to even just try to make all these plans, God. Like, I'm going to make room for you. Like, okay, I got these ideas, I got these things that I feel like you're telling me to do. But then I feel like there's some areas of my life that you haven't spoken in, and that you haven't fully spoken in. So I'm not going to just go and jump out on a limb and just be like, oh, I think this is what I should be doing and doing that. Like, I want to make room for you. So
yeah, definitely.
But also with making room, like, make room, of course, make room for Jesus, like, make room to hear from him. Make room for error. Like, make room to know, like, all right, I got these goals, but it may not always happen. Like, for real, like, there's some goals, like, people said, like, for instance, the gym, all right? People make all these goals, I'm going to go into the gym. That is very hard to do if you haven't already committed in your mind, like, okay, I'm going to commit to this lifestyle. So there might be some areas where you like, I think I'm going to do this, or I say I'm going to do this, and then it just really don't go out your way. Or what's another example? Scheduling.
Scheduling.
Like, say for that, like that's
Lord,
something that we
yes.
struggle with a lot. Like, my wife is great at scheduling, and my wife can just give you a plan. Like, okay, you need to do this. You need to do this at this time,
love
and
making
go this way. You
schedules.
need to be in bed by this time, or even just the other day. Let's be realistic. Bring it home.
Yesterday.
My wife was like, "Oh, I want to have a plan to be in bed at 10 a.m." And
10
I was
p.m.
10 p.m.
Not AM.
10
Not
p.m.
AM, y'all.
Yeah, that's
No.
me. That's more like me. But 10 p.m. And I looked at her and I was like, baby, like, is that really realistic? Like,
Yeah.
like today, like, is that a realistic goal? So make room to be realistic. Like, make room to know, like, okay, like some of these goals are just like, out of there. If you're trying to get in bed by 10 p.m., but you go to bed at 5 a.m., you usually go to bed at 5 a.m. every night, that's probably not a realistic goal.
Yeah.
So make room, like, in that aspect.
Yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say. Well, no, that's not what I was gonna say. But what I was gonna say is like when you're making room for God and when you're creating goals and like just a vision for your year, I think that's a better way of putting it. Like you can have goals, but also have a vision. Set big goals, but then take some time to actually map that out realistically. How are you going to get there?
Right.
Realistically, like
Practically.
month to month, week to week, day to day. And if it's not lining up, then just prepare yourself to like, okay, this is my goal. I would really like to get here, but realistically, I might end up a little bit short and getting here. Are you okay with that? Like asking yourself. So just be realistic, because I think that's one area that we failed in, for lack of better words, last year. Was like we had this long list of things that we wanted to see happen, but we didn't have plans for them. We were just kind of like I think most of them, it was just kind of like a lollygag and like, woo, well, we want all this to happen, but we're just going to float out into the sea and see what happens. Like there was not all of them, but some of them. I feel
I
like
say we was lollygagging. We wasn't
not
lollygagging on nothing.
lollygagging, but just like in the sense of like, in comparison, we had this long list of goals, but we weren't sitting down saying, okay, this is how we're going to reach each and every one of them.
Right.
You know, we had some of them, like there are some of them, and those were the ones that happened. Like one of our major goals was to get a house. We're staying in a house because we actually made plans. And so like I think that's one area that people kind of fall short in when it comes to goals, or at least I have and do in the past, is like when I fail to plan for those, like realistically plan for those goals. And I mean being
good,
real
yeah.
about the day-to-day and like factoring in error, factoring in room for error. Like, okay, in real life, when life gets lifing, like, how can I still make sure that I am working towards this goal?
That's good.
I think that's really important to factor in.
That's good. That's good. And that leads us to our next point. The next point is what, baby?
X out religion and traditions.
How the song go? My religion. How the song go?
Shake up the ground of all my religion. No traditions.
Yeah.
Break down the
Talk it
walls
out. She want to
of
sing it
all
out,
my
but talk it out. Talk it out
traditions.
so I can really make sense of it.
Shake up the ground of all my traditions. Break down the walls of all my religion.
That's good. Your way is better. Yes, yes. Shake up the ground of all my traditions. Lord, we talking about this worship song. Bring it in. Praise, thank God for whoever made this worship song. It's an amazing worship song. Shake up the ground of all my traditions. Like, listen, y'all. Some of y'all don't need no new resolutions. Y'all don't need no new goals. You need a new mindset, and you need to shake up your old ways, your old habits, your old traditions, and get rid of them. Get them out the door. Like, some of y'all, like, you don't need to do nothing new. You need to X out.
Actually,
no, you do. Yes, you do need to do so. Yes,
new
yes.
things.
You don't necessarily need new resolutions. You need a new mindset. You need new traditions.
Yes.
You need new ways of doing things. Like
Yes.
some of us have been so stuck in a way like, oh, we've done this before, so we're just gonna keep doing it like this way. Like, isn't that the definition of
Insanity.
insanity? Like you're doing something over and over and expecting a different result. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you got to let those traditions go. Like and sometimes it's hard. Like for real. Like and that's one of the things. Like and sometimes it's even with the smallest things, right? Or on a small scale of things. Like so, for instance, like our New Year's tradition was very untraditional. You know, a lot of people go to New Year's parties. A lot of people maybe go to see the fireworks or see the ball drop or, you know, nothing wrong with none of those things. New Year parties, New Year's, all of that. But this year, like we were like, we bringing in the new year ourselves, you know? Like we weren't doing things the traditional way, you know? And I believe that was very important because like if we would have, you know, did things the traditional way or maybe went to a New Year party, we wouldn't have had the time that we did to really get to know each other's plan and get on the same page with each other. Like we could have made that time in another way, but I just want to say like you don't got to do everything the way somebody else do it or the way you see the world doing traditions just because you see it that way. Like when we say in traditions, like think about maybe it's just some habits, maybe some routines that you like, you've done this. Yes.
I think it's important too, like if you keep on finding yourself in the same place, the same circumstance, the same situation, the same trials, the same like just sin, the same. You
need to shake it up.
It's time to, well, not just shake it up, but you need to take a step back and observe, why do I keep on getting the same place?
Yeah.
What's happening? A plus B equals C. Like at the end of the day, logic is great. Like A plus B equals C. 2 plus 2 equals 4. If you keep on finding yourself in the same situation, you need to take a step back and observe what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is my role in this? Are other people playing a role in this? Like, and what do I need to do about this to get out of the situation? Basically, if we're trying to make room for God, if we're trying to make room for just a different year, a new year, it's 2023, something new, then you have to take a step back and shake up whatever has been going on that's been getting you the same results.
Right.
You want different results, you got to do different actions.
That's true.
So you shake up them traditions.
Shake up them traditions for real. Make some new traditions, make some new habits. Like, you know, but like sometimes, a lot of times, like we get stuck. And that's one thing. We get stuck. Some people get stuck for years, and then years later, they try to come unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard to become unstuck when you've been stuck in traditions for years.
Yeah.
You know, like when you can just be like, okay, this ain't worked out, let me try it again. Like for instance, I know so many people that are in the same, and I love these people. There's a lot of people that I love dearly, but they are stuck in dry places.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing over and over. It's the same people. It's the same way of doing things. Like it's just the same. And they want to, and they look and see like, oh, I see this different than somebody else. And it could easily be you. You can see a different result.
Yeah.
But you're too scared to shake things up. It's okay to shake things up. It's okay to do something that's not like somebody else. I promise you. Even if it's something that you've been in for years, if you've seen your family do it, if you've seen people that you love, like take that leap, like shake it up. Like it's gonna be so worth it. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be comfortable when you can, like, just think about the word shake. If I'm shaking my wife, or if she shaking me, shake me, baby, shake me. All right, if she's shaking me, I'm kind of solid, so she can't shake me that easily. But shaking is not comfortable. You know, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. If I was just shaking her this whole time, she probably wouldn't be able to focus and do what she needs to do.
Nope.
All right. If she was shaking me this whole time, I wouldn't be able to focus and do what I need to do. It's not going to feel good, but you're going to see great results when you do it.
Yeah.
Like same thing with the gym. Like does going to the gym feel good? No. Does pressing hard feel good? No. But when you see them results, you like, okay, it's worth it. I need to keep doing this. I need to keep making this new habit.
But it's not just about results. It's something to think about too, is like, y'all, you were placed on this earth for such a time as this, with a purpose for this time, with a gifting, with the voice, with the story for this time.
Yeah.
But when we get stuck, it prevents our voice and our history and our story and our giftings from being able to make the impact that it can in this earth.
Yeah.
And so know that, like, everyone is special. You're special. Like, a lot of people, for good reason, this isn't like calling out or shaming or anything, because this is a real legitimate thing. Like, I understand this. I experience this from time to time. But a lot of times we will get stuck in this mindset of like, oh, this is just how it's always been. Okay. Yeah. Change it. Yeah, literally, like, history is stuck. Like, history is stuck. But you can change the future. Like, you can always
the present.
Yeah, you can always change the present. Like you have control over the now. Like, I mean, and some you can't control everything, but like you have control over your actions in the now. So start taking those small steps. It's kind of like an airplane. I've never flown an airplane in my life, but they say that like you can start in Los Angeles, and if you just change the nose of the airplane by 1 degree, you'll wind up like what in DC or something, or like
I have no idea.
I don't know. This is not fully accurate. I mean, it's accurate. Y'all look it up.
But if you change it just a small degree,
yeah. If you change the airplane by a small degree, and you keep on flying, in the moment, in the present, it doesn't look like anything's happening. But when you go to touch down, you'll realize you're thousands of miles away from where you're aiming to go.
That's good.
So
the small things matter.
It's the small things. Yeah,
small
take the small
degrees,
things.
Yes.
It's those everyday steps that don't feel like anything's happening. That's what's changing. Like you are making like change. So be encouraged.
That's good. Be encouraged. Shake it up. Take those small steps for real.
The last point is to trust God's timing because His way is better.
Your way is better. Your way is better.
Trust His timing.
Trust His timing, man.
Do it.
It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. Just like we just talked about, shaking it up, taking them baby steps, and trusting God, trusting that His way is better. Man, I can promise you His way is better. But I can also promise you it's not going to be easy, just like the word says, like in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. He has overcome the world.
Philippians 3:13 says, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead."
Yes. Forgetting the past. Like, forget it. You had a goal, you didn't hit it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Forget it. Yes, that's harsh. I'm talking to myself too. Like, for real. Like, I got to forget about those things because if you dwell on the past, you end up, like we were talking about in the previous section, staying stuck. Instead of just trusting God that like, okay, God, this didn't happen on my timeline. So instead, I'm going to trust your timeline because I know your way is better.
Can I challenge that statement?
Yes.
No, I'm not challenging. Please don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not challenging the Bible. I'm just challenging our mindset. Okay, I want to expand it a little bit. What if instead of forgetting it, we use it? Use your failures, like not to beat yourself up, but to propel you forward through learning from them. What went wrong? Like by forget about it, it's like when he's saying forget about it, he's saying like, don't dwell on it. Don't let it become a burden to you. Don't let it weigh you down. Just like forget about it. Like but at the same time, like realistically, y'all, failures are only failures if we don't learn from it. But a failure is not a failure if you get something from it, knowledge. Because maybe I failed this time, but then I learned how to do it correctly and I was able to get it right the next time. That was basically just a trial run. That was just a lesson. That's all it was. Don't beat yourselves up. Seriously. Like, life is life. And we're all out here trying to figure this thing out. All of us.
Forget the past in the aspect of it bringing you down. Use what didn't go your way as lessons. And just trust God. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. They're so much higher. They're so much greater. They're so much better, And so many times we think we got the master plan when we don't.
Proverbs 3, verses 5-6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your hearts. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take."
And that leads us back to the first scripture. Like, seek ye first. Like, when you seek Him, He's going to show you. He's going to show you. And if you feel like He hasn't shown you yet, then go back to the last thing that you feel like He told you to do and do that. And then just wait. He will give you the next steps and what to take.
Trust your maker. A cup is not defined by what's inside of it. It's defined by its maker. For example, some people create cups for the purpose of carrying coffee. Other people create cups for the purpose of carrying water. And then other people create cups that has every ability to carry a form of liquid inside of it, but the creator says that it's too valuable to just be used for drinking. It has to be sat on a shelf and just observed. We call that fine china. If you feel lost, if you don't know like how to go about 2023, if you feel like you're lacking purpose or struggling to find purpose or motivation or hope for 2023, return back to your maker. We can set goals all day long, but his way is better. Why? He's our maker. He's our creator. And he has such a beautiful purpose for us.
Trust God and keep going.
And keep on
Don't
going.
quit. Consistency is key. Like, for real. If whatever he's calling you to do, be consistent. Show up regardless of when you feel like it or don't. Like, for instance, do I feel like going to the gym all the time? No, I don't. Do I feel like doing some things that I know God called me to do? No. But we still show up and God still come through. And so show up and trust him. All right.
All right.
So, man, we hope y'all took something from this.
Yes.
Make room for God. Yes, you got your plans, you got your goals. But if you're not making room for him, where really are you going to go? Like, for real. So make room for him. We appreciate y'all for watching and listening.
Ooh.
Because we now have a podcast and a vodcast. So I'm not sure what you tell people to do when you got a podcast.
When you have a podcast,
Keep on listening.
keep
share,
on listening.
download.
Yeah, y'all go tell somebody about it. Tell a friend about it. Send it to your sister, your mama, and leave us a comment. Leave us a review on, if you're listening on Apple, then in the Apple show notes. And if you're watching, then you already know.
Right.
You need to
Like.
You need to comment. You need to
Subscribe.
And share.
Share.
Don't forget the bell notification.
And hit the bell notification.
Because we back.
We back. Happy 2023, y'all. Love
Happy
y'all.
2023. Bye.
Peace.